Hi, everyone. Welcome back to A Life Well Spent, or welcome if you're new here. My name's Kelly. On my channel, I'm tracking my financial journey. So, we're going to talk about things financial related. You'll see different types of videos, like budget videos with my actual numbers. So, I will introduce my budget at the beginning of the month or a little bit before the month starts. And then I will close out my budget at the end of the month. I will do some videos on like my money goals, things like that. And I will also do videos like this one today where I am actually going to track my spending for the week. This is now for the second week of July. And the reason I do this is because it helps me stay on track, because I know that when I don't do it, it's not good and I way overspend. Because in my head, I think that I haven't spent as much money as I really have, or I think, oh no, I've got plenty left in that budget category. Like I'm sure I'm fine. And then I get to the end of the month and I was like, oh, wait, I went over. And sometimes I go over anyway, and that's not necessarily great, but at least I know that I'm going over. And it's more of a not necessarily frivolous spending, more of a I didn't plan as much as I thought, like, I miscalculated how much I was going to need in this category. So I'm actually like dressed and ready to go out and do some work in my yard because it's finally a time where like it's not disgustingly hot out. It's been in like the 90s and the hundreds, and it's been, no, thank you. I hate working outside like that. So we're now kind of in this zone where like it's not super hot, but it's also not like raining every day, because it was the either or. It was either way too hot to go out and do work, or you couldn't do anything that you wanted to do because it was going to start raining, and that would create a big problem. So like I have I need to put some weed and feed like some stuff down on my lawn, but I can't do that when it's going to be raining anytime soon. So I need a span of like a couple of days where it's not going to rain. We're finally there. I can put it down now. Yay. I have some areas where I'm spraying weeds, which again, can't do when it's going to be raining in the afternoon. It'll just wash it all away. So yeah, it's been, it's been interesting, but I think I finally have a nice couple of days where I can get out and do stuff and just get it taken care of, because it really needs to be taken care of. I'm this close to paying someone to do it because it's just that much of a pain for me right now, but I don't want to. I need to try to remind myself that like it's a push mower if I mow my lawn, and or if I'm doing my like weed eater, like I have to just keep reminding myself that like, hey, this is physical labor and you can count it as exercise. This is a way to get your body moving and exercising. So keep doing that. And not being that successful. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into our spending for the week, or my spending for the week rather. And it's been a pretty chill week. I didn't spend a lot of money. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if there's a specific reason. Just didn't really go anywhere or do anything, and I don't quite know why at all. The next week, actually, week 3, I spent some things on, I'll get into that video in a couple of days. But I had spent some money on some things that I wanted to buy, and I didn't for the second week. I don't really know what's going on there. So this is my budget template. And really this is only counting from the 8th to the 10th. So I use an Easy Pass, and I'm not sure if that's an annual fee or if that's just a re-up because it went under a certain amount. I don't quite know. Actually, should probably look into that, because while I would typically have spent that just fine, with like, I sincerely hope, I think they actually did charge me during the pandemic, and I can promise you I was not traveling anywhere during the pandemic, so that was just irritating. But I did, when I went to IKEA, I hopped on the Turnpike, and yeah. So anyway, that comes out, it's $35 a year. I think either that, or they've, because when I went to IKEA last, you have to keep like a minimum amount in there, and then if it goes under, like it pulls a chunk over at a time, and I think 35 is what it pulls. So it could just be that like it got to the end of the month in June when I went down, and it was like, hey, you don't have enough, and then pulled it out. I don't know. Anyway, So, I then went to the movie theater. I bought some snacks, bought my ticket. Um, Very annoyingly, I did not know that I could use my popcorn bucket, so could have gotten a lot cheaper popcorn. I'm very annoyed about that. I found out after the fact that like you could use the one from like last year that nobody really ever got to use. So now I know for future, but I don't know that I'm gonna go see that many more movies in the theater. This was Black Widow. I will definitely see like Marvel movies in theaters because it's just much better to watch them on a big screen, you know. So those kind of like big event tentpole sort of movies, I prefer to watch in theaters, but the other stuff I don't really have to and I can wait. Um, yeah, still cheaper for me than to go like do the premiere release whatever at home, which I really love. And I know for families, like that's great. That's really great. I would use it for a lot of movies if I had like a friend of mine has three kids, and so for her husband and her three kids to go to the movies, they spend a ton of money. So it is way cheaper for them to watch it at home, to pay $25 or $30 even to watch it at home, because that is way cheaper than they would be spending to go to the theater, and they get to, use their own snacks and eat whatever they want. So anyway, those are those two. They were separate because they can't do them all in one transaction, which is annoying. However, is what it is. Comcast, I had to pay an extra $14.62 for my internet. And this is like my internet and TV combined. And I guess I was on a contracted rate, which I didn't actually think that it was. Like I thought I was actually outside of the contract. And I was not. So now I am. And it's gonna charge me another $14.62 than I was initially planning on paying. So it's like a total of like $145 a month, I want to say, around there, for internet and TV. I really hate paying that, truthfully, really do. And I talked to Comcast about like what I could do to change that. There's nothing I can do that's any kind of like special rate, whatever, because this is how these companies get you. And I've talked before about why I can't really give up cable right now. I wish I could. I even looked into like cutting, if I did like Hulu Live or Sling Live, to actually be able to get like the one channel. This is all for one channel. Keep in mind, one channel. Drives me nuts, but I made my peace with it. However, it's the Big Ten Network. My dad wants to be able to access the Big Ten Network. That's it. And it's the least we can do for him in his situation. So that's why I've made my peace with it. But otherwise, even if we had gone to, just internet and like Hulu Live or something that will give us access to the Big Ten Network, it's still the same amount of money for me. If I drop TV and then just, what my internet bill would be if I just dropped TV and then my adding on the Hulu Live or whatever, it's the same price. So at this point, we're going to keep it, and just, it just doesn't make sense to kind of make any changes. And then, if my dad's okay with not watching anymore, or he gets, bad enough to the point where it's kind of irrelevant, then we might make some changes. So I just plugged my computer in because it keeps dimming on me. So is what it is. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of money. It's very annoying. I got $30 from my mom for some of the groceries that I bought her and some stuff at the farmer's market. And then I went to the grocery store, bought $17.33 worth of groceries. So my actual expenses this week, let's see, I think I calculated that wrong because I think I clicked everyone. Yeah, $88.01. That makes sense. Took 30 out of that because it was my mom's. So when I first calculated, I calculated them all together and I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, that takes us through the 14th of July. It was a pretty easy week. Oh, actually, see, I'm gonna do this live now. I am being silly because that, all right, 73.39 is what it should be. 73.39 and the 14.62. Yeah, that needs to go there. Did I say 39? There we go. All right, that's more like it. Okay. So, that's where we're at right now. Haven't really spent anything out of any of my accounts, in any of my sinking funds. I am still, yeah, I'm a little over on my internet because that is a new amount for sure. I have to actually look at the bill and find out what the total is because I just gave it like a 125, but it was before like 123 and change or 124 and change or something. So I just kind of left the extra in there. They pulled that out this time because I'm not paying enough. And then, so I'm not sure what the actual amount is. I don't think it's going to be 139.62. I think it's more like 145. But anyway, groceries, I still have $140.29 in groceries. I have $60.49 in gas. I'm kind of wishing I had upped my gas a little bit because I just, again, wasn't really thinking. I still have $100 in my house garden, which is nice. I like that. $45 left to spend in restaurant, $326.94 in personal, and $565 left in miscellaneous. Now, I'm actually intending on taking a trip. I just don't really know where, which is why I put all of my trip money into the miscellaneous, and it's kind of dumb. I should have just added what I expected to spend on gas into the gas category, but I didn't. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna buy a couple of things for my car. I'm gonna probably swipe out my my wiper blades, and I know I need to change my air filter. So the next time I hit up Walmart, I'll go get that stuff there and then replace it. Don't ever get that done. Like, even if you don't change your own oil, which is fine, I don't. If you know how to do that, great, awesome. But your air filter is one of the easiest things to change. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, for most cars anyway, you're going to open the hood, you're going to reach in and pull it out and pull another one in. Like, it's not at all complicated. And wiper blades are super easy. So don't ever get those done by somebody else. Do them yourself. Super easy, super cheap comparatively. So yeah, not quite sure where we're going yet. Not quite sure when we're leaving. It's going to be, really dependent on my friend and her schedule. And, I love this friend. We don't travel the same though. So I think this is going to end up costing me way more than I wanted it to. Because like, I don't mind roughing it. I don't mind being without air conditioning. I love camping. My idea of get out of town and go somewhere would be like to go find a campsite and just, drive around and enjoy places. But like my home base, my nighttime is going to be at a campsite. That is not her. And so we were looking at like just different places we were interested in and looking at Airbnbs and hotel rooms, and they're all obnoxiously expensive. And I think I'm just going to end up eating way more money than I wanted to because I agreed to go on this trip and I don't want to back out. But it's kind of driving me nuts because there's some places that I was looking at that shouldn't really be all that expensive, but they are, probably to like recoup some tourism money from last year. I get it, but it's still annoying because I feel like if I'm going to spend $1,000 traveling to somewhere, like it's not going to be like the Adirondacks or New England. Like I'm going to go abroad for that. So yeah, just dealing with that. It's kind of annoying. Just going to have to talk myself into it and be done with it. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's the spending for the week. I will be back actually in a couple of days. It's already July 19th. So I've got to do some more tracking, and in about 3 days probably I will have the next video out with the next week's worth of expenses. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.